We are conditioned to believe that selflessness is the ultimate virtue, that the act of giving oneself for the sake of another is the apex of human morality. But what happens when selflessness ceases to be a choice and becomes a compulsion? What happens when a boy decides that his life has zero intrinsic value unless it is being spent, quite literally spent, like currency to purchase the safety of others? In the world of My Hero Academia, we cheer for Izuku Midoriya. We watch him break his bones, shatter his ligaments, and tear his body apart, and we call it heroism. I'm here to tell you that we are wrong. What we are watching isn't heroism. It is a slow-motion suicide broadcast as shonen entertainment. This is the pathology of altruism. To understand Izuku Midoriya, we have to look past the bright colors of the costume and the triumphant music. We have to look at the blood. From the very first moment he acquires power, his relationship with it is masochistic. One for All doesn't just require strength, it requires sacrifice. But for Midoriya, the sacrifice isn't the cost of doing business, it is the business. It starts here. The diagnosis, Quirkless. In a society defined by biological function, Midoriya is diagnosed as broken. He is told, implicitly and explicitly, that he is an empty vessel. The tragedy of his character isn't that he has no power, it's that he internalizes the idea that he has no worth. This is the foundation of his pathology. He believes that his existence is a debt he has to pay off. When All Might enters his life, we see it as a dream come true. But look closer. All Might validates Midoriya's worst fear, that he is only valuable if he is useful. The training montage isn't just about building muscle. It's about creating a container for someone else's legacy. He isn't becoming his own person. He is hollowing himself out to become a vessel for a god. Consider the fight with Todoroki. This is often cited as a peak heroic moment. He helps his opponent work through trauma while destroying his own body. But is this healthy? Is it sane? Midoriya repeatedly mutilates himself to solve a problem that isn't his to solve. He treats his body like disposable ammunition. This isn't bravery, it is a desperate plea for validation. He is screaming, "Look, I am hurting myself, therefore I matter." We cannot ignore the Bakugo factor. Years of psychological abuse conditioned Midoriya to associate pain with normalcy. He was the punching bag. When he gains power, he doesn't stop being the punching bag. He just starts throwing the punches at himself. He bypasses the instinct for self-preservation because that instinct was beaten out of him before he even entered high school. The 1,000,000% smash. It sounds cool. It looks incredible. But physiologically, it is a horror show. He pushes his body so far past its limit that adrenaline is the only thing keeping him conscious. He is willing to permanently disable himself to save Kota. While noble, it reflects a terrifying calculus. One child's safety is worth Midoriya's entire future. He does not put himself on the equation. Sir Night-Eye saw it. He saw the madness in the boy. He understood that All Might chose a successor who didn't possess the symbol of Peace's charisma, but rather his martyrdom. Night-Eye rejected Midoriya not because he lacked potential, but because he lacked the will to live for himself. Night-Eye knew that a hero who wants to die will eventually succeed. As we approach the war arc, the parallels between Midoriya and Shigaraki become undeniable. Both are products of a society that failed them. Both are vessels for ancient powers that consume their hosts. But while Shigaraki wants to destroy the world to validate his pain, Midoriya wants to destroy himself to save it. They are both absolute extremists. The story stops being about good versus evil and becomes a clash of two self-destructive pathologies. This brings us to the Vigilante arc. This is the mask coming off. He leaves UA, leaves his friends, and stops eating, stops sleeping, stops bathing. He becomes a creature of pure duty. He looks like a villain. Why? Because he has finally achieved his goal. He has removed the Izuku from the equation entirely. There is no human left. There is only one for all. He is a walking quirk, a biological machine running on fumes and trauma. This state is the logical conclusion of his ideology. If you believe your only value is saving others, then any moment spent resting, eating, or smiling is a moment of moral failure. It is the pathology of altruism taken to its terminal phase. He believes he must suffer to be good. If he isn't suffering, he feels he isn't working hard enough. The turning point isn't a victory against a villain, it's a defeat by his friends. Class 1A has to physically subdue him to save him from his own heroism. Bakugo's apology is crucial here. He acknowledges that they pushed him into this isolation. They realize that they let him carry the burden alone because it was convenient. They admired his self-sacrifice without realizing it was self-harm. Uraraka asks the most important question of the series: who saves the heroes when they are in pain? This reframes the entire narrative. Up until this point, the series asked, can you be a hero? Now it asks, should you have to be? It challenges the idea that the symbol of peace must be a solitary pillar. It suggests that true strength isn't bearing the weight of the world alone, but allowing others to help you carry it. In the end, Izuku Midoriya has to unlearn the lessons of the first 3 seasons. He has to learn that he is not just a vessel for One for All. He is a person who deserves to exist. He has to accept that saving himself is a prerequisite to saving the world. The pathology of altruism is cured not by more power, but by vulnerability. So, is Izuku Midoriya a hero? If a hero is a man who destroys himself for strangers, then yes. But if a hero is someone who inspires hope, he couldn't do that until he found hope for himself. The story of My Hero Academia isn't about a boy becoming the greatest hero. It's about a boy learning that he doesn't have to die to be worth something. It is about the death of the symbol and the birth of the human. He isn't a hero because he suffers. He is a hero because despite everything that told him he was nothing, he chose to be something. But let's stop romanticizing the suffering. Let's stop calling pathology passion. Izuku Midoriya survived his own heroism, and that is his greatest victory.